What we're going to be talking about today are JPEGs, image files that are usually what you normally get. Now, JPEG files are basically part of a image type that's called raster. Raster images are images that are all grouped together, are made up of pixels, and usually are spotted by the white background that accompanies each JPEG. When you go on the internet and you're looking for images to work with, normally those images are going to be a JPEG or a bitmap or a PNG type file. So I'm going to go to Google, and what we have coming up is Easter. I'm going to do Easter Clipart, okay? And if I go to images, all these image files are actually PNGs and type of rasterized images. Let me see. I usually go, let's take a look at some of these, okay? This Easter bunny, first thing I want you to notice that each one of these images are going to have a size accompanied by it, 287 by 300 for this Happy Easter basket. And this is a resolution size, 287 by 300, means it's a very small image. It's made up of a very few pixels, and it's probably not the best image to get to actually create. I mean, you can use this, but your designing techniques are going to be more manually applied. Other images will have slightly bigger ones, 236 by 254. It's another one that's actually very small. This Happy Easter is 527 by 311, it's slightly larger, a little bit more solid colors. And by the way, we'll be talking about in this study, we're actually the techniques and principles that I'm going to describe to you for rasterized images can be applied for rhinestone or embroidery. So we're going to be intermixing between embroidery and rhinestoning or spangle. Okay. One of the things I always do when selecting a file to use, or if I'm contracting with a customer that's actually going to bring me a design, an image file, I need a certain resolution size. And the reason why is because it's going to make your designing a little bit easier. Okay, so let's take a look at this this Easter bunny here. It's 550 by 532. I'm going to save this. I'm going to save it to my Clipart folder, and we'll call it Easter 1. And if you're in Google, there is a tool section here that when you click on it, you could choose what size image you want or resolution. So if I go to a large, you could see that my resolutions change. This one here is 3,300 by 867. It's a far better design than I had on the previous page. For this one here, this Easter, this one here is a 1458 by 1818. This is a great image to use for Easter. To convert. This one here has a lot of halftones. You see the shadowing here, the lightness of this color. This may not be perfect for us to use, and I'll explain in a little bit. Let me see. Let's go to something like. Let's go with. Let's see, Palm Sunday. Let me just shrink this real quick. All right, let's take a look. Like this one here is pretty good. This one here is 2002, simple file for rhinestoning. This would be perfect for something for rhinestoning. This one here, you can do these styles. Matter of fact, I'm actually going to do. Let's go ahead and do this one here. Let me find it. This one here is pretty cool too. I like this one. I'll show you how to walk through these. So I'm going to go and save that. Okay. And then we'll bring them in and we'll inspect those, okay? So let's open this up. And in version 17, you want to go to Insert. And in the media, you want to choose Raster. In the folders, you want to choose the folder where you save them at. And I saved them in my Clipart folder. And then the image files will show up here. So let's pick that first image, okay? First thing we look at when we go to layout, we can see this image is slightly under an inch by an inch. You can see that over here. That's because it's a low resolution image. When we go to one of the other ones that we selected, and looks like only this one here is saved. This one here is just a slightly bit larger. When we go back to the Google page and we look at that, this one here is 8,000 by 5276. Usually when they don't save that large, I usually go to the visit page, and there it is right there. So if I save this one here, if I go to view full size, and I save this image, okay, let's bring that in. And now you're going to see that we have a much bigger image here. So let me go to here. Oop. Make sure I save that to the right folder. And this is a PNG image. Okay, so we're going to cancel, and we'll go back in there. Where's my Clipart images? Desktop, Clipart. So you can see right here, it actually got distorted here. So there's a way to work around that. And we're just going to take this image using our snipping tool. And I'm just going to draw a square around it. And this is going to resave it. File, save as. And we're going to go to Clipart images. All right, so that's the one we're going to take. I did that because when I first clicked on it, it would not come up. So let me go to my name, and we'll go to desktop, and we'll go to Clipart. Okay. You can see this is how it came up. So this is the capture. So I'm going to bring the capture in, and you can see how much larger that actually is. And this image is what we want to use. Okay. All right, let's see. Now let's grab. I had another one here. It's Memorial Day. Memorial Day. Okay, all these are Memorial Days. Okay, so here's my images. Okay, so this one here is probably not the best one to use because look how light and how various the colors are in this word Easter. Where on this one here, we have a little bit more solid colors there. Okay. We actually see our image a lot better. This is the one I'm going to want to use versus this one. So I'm just going to delete that one. We will use this one, and we'll create this one, but we'll also create this one as well. Okay. Once we do that, what we want to do is we want to scan this image and convert all the colors to solid colors, okay? And when you click on your image, just go ahead and go to Layout and go to Color Reduction. And if I click on filter here, you'll see that it sees a lot of different shades of pink, a lot of different shades of green. So we just want to limit this image down to about 4 colors. We hit filter, and we'll see what the after effect is going to look like. And now you can see the circle here where it's actually a lighter image. Okay, you can see it over here. All right, so we're just going to open that up a little bit more, and we'll hit filter again, and you start seeing we start shrinking this circle in as we start bringing in more colors. We go to 6, and we'll go to 7, and then let me try 8, and now you can start seeing all the different colors of purple that it's starting to bring in. So I'm going to hit return on this, okay? And now to create this, you won't be able to use any manual techniques to create this. There's some things I can do, but there's way too many colors in here. So the way I would create this, first of all, I would size this out. I want this to be a full chest, so I'm going to go 5.5, or let's go 6 inches across. And the way I would create this is very simple, okay? I would actually go to Embroidery, and I would do uniform area. I want to do the Happy Easter and flat fill. So I use a pattern stitch. Immediately choose your color. Set your density to about 5.65. Choose your pattern stitch style. And as you can tell, we have plenty of them here. We have math patterns, creative patterns, and I'm going to choose something with a little bit of texture to it. Let's go and choose this one here. And then my underlay, I'm going to choose is going to be medium. And I'm not going to worry about pull compensation right now. I am going to put thread trims into it. And I will put lock stitches to classic, okay? And now we'll just create this. So I'm just going to start here. I'm going to stick to the edge. And what you're going to do to create this, I'm just going to come back over here. And you're going to start and finish where you started. Okay, I'm going to process those stitches. I don't need to show stitch marks. And sometimes I'll actually stop, go to select object, and fix some areas where I didn't really place my node correctly. Okay, set a stitch direction. Let's take a look at that in 3D mode. All right, so you can see that this pattern stitch probably won't look right because of the amount of area that I have doesn't really lend itself to show those different patterns. So I'll just go to a normal pattern. All right, and now we'll continue on. So I'll go to Embroidery, choose my uniform area, make sure all my settings are correct. Medium is selected, no pull, classic, and we'll continue on. So I'm going to start right inside. And we're doing this, we're stopping here because this part of the H kind of like goes into it. So these stitches are going to be underneath that area. You gotta recognize those. And then just continue on. Stick to your edge. Now what I like to do is, instead of zooming out and zooming in, I'm going to open up my satellite view here. I'm going to dock this right over here, and this will allow me to stay zoomed in like I am, and just move this square so I can continue to create. If you make a mistake, just hit the backspace button and redo the node placement. I'm going to place a corner node here because if I don't place a corner node there, it kind of flares out on me and I can't control the shape of this. So if I hold the control button in, I can click and set a corner node, which is defined by its blue nature, and I can control the angle and path of my stitches. Keep coming down. Got to make sure you have some overlap here. You don't want the edges of those stitches sticking out. And I'm going to place a corner node here, come back the other way, make sure I'm overlapping those stitches. Stick to the edge. Another thing you can do is you can go to File, you can go to Options, Preferences, not Preferences, but Shortcuts. And then I like the Pan tool. I like a hotkey on my Pan tool so I can move my image. And instead of using the satellite view, so I'll just look for Pan. And there it is right there. And right now it's set to F2. I'm going to set it to F1 because it's just a little bit easier for me to use it because it's right next to my escape button. We'll come back. And now I can close this out. And you can see my F1 button toggles from creation. And let's just go down to where my last node was placed. Right here. So I'm going to backspace. And I just have my finger just resting on the F1, not pushing it down, so I can press it and keep changing. So I can move my image. Press the F1 button, move it, press it again to go back to creation mode. And we're slowly working our way back to the beginning. Let me see, where is that? Oh, I'm going to place a corner node here, corner node there. Go to select object, and we're going to change that pattern stitch back to a default. We'll make sure they're all default. And you can see how how this starts to take shape. Okay, that's the one issue with JPEGs and how you need to create this. And you'd want to take your time in doing this. This part of the H should be done first before this one here, so the stitches tuck underneath. And probably the E will want to be done first since the H is on top of it. So you want to plan out your embroidery. The same way with this. Let's go ahead and delete this. Get that off the screen. Now let's take a look at this one here. This one here, we have, let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 colors here, maybe even 8. So I'm going to see how this cleans up by going to Layout, Color Reduction. Let's choose 8 colors on this. And let me see. Okay, it looks pretty good. We got all the colors there. We're missing the dark blue. So we'll go to 9 colors. And let's try this one here, okay? So from here, we'll actually go to Layout. We'll set the size to, again, 6 inches. And we'll see how this converts, okay? Let's go ahead and choose Embroidery. We'll see if we can actually do this automatically, okay? I'm going to go to Uniform Area. I'm going to choose my color stitches first. Of course, we're looking at the green first because it's a far back color. So choose your color green. Set your material style or your stitch style. And then we're going to make sure our pole compensation is selected. You want to do all these so you don't have to go back and do it again. Pole compensation, you want to set your thread trims and your lock stitches. Okay? And now let's go ahead and try and see if we can actually do this automatically using our magic wand. We'll go to autocomplete and we'll click on the green here and hit enter. Okay, and we'll go ahead and do, let me change this out. And let's see, we're going to do this green here. And now we're going to do this green here. Okay, let's change our color now to blue. And I'll hold my control button in and select all the blue areas and hit enter. Now we're going to go ahead and choose our pink. Hold your control, select the first pink and then hold your control button, and then you could click and add all these other ones to it. We'll hit enter. And now we're going to do the purple. By reducing your colors of your JPEG, you get a much easier time converting your stitches to embroidery. Now if you accidentally click on something, just click on it again while still holding your control button and convert. And now we're going to do the yellow. Come down here, select this little piece here. So that's inconsequential, so I'll actually create that myself. We'll hit enter. And the last part will be the orange. And then we have just a little bit of highlight stuff for the dark blue that was inside of the egg here. Now what I'll do for that is actually I'll just go ahead and create that manually. It's just easy to do so. Just draw a circle. Zoom in a little bit so I can see everything. And click here, here. And there we have it. So now what I got to do is we need to do all the black. Now the black in this, you could see it's very faint. Now there's some editing I got to do first, like for instance, the nodes are not exactly following the contours, and I will edit those nodes. Just reposition them. This node I'm just going to bring out. Let's see. And we'll just resize this one here. I'm going to hold my shift key, just resize that a little bit. And you can see right here, the image was so low resolution still that I really didn't see the outer edge, because that's where it's going to be the lightest. So I'll just bring these nodes down. And this will fix all your stitches for you automatically. Well, adjust them anyway. Now this I'm going to change to a curved node, so it kind of curves this shape a little better. Now sometimes it's easier to turn off your three-dimensional view so you can actually see the image color behind it. This square node means it's a line node, so I'm going to change it to a curved node. And then I could shape it using the arm. And this should be a curved node. So you definitely want to go around and edit your image as you see fit. Okay, so we're just about done editing position of nodes. All right, so now you can see the black outline to our image. It's very thin, it's there, it definitely defines the image. So with this, what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to do the black manually. So I'm going to go to Embroidery. I'm going to choose Path with Zigzag. I'm going to set my color to black. Set my density to 5 stitches per millimeter. And the width is how wide this is going to be. And I'm just going to set it to maybe 16. And that'll give me enough width there, maybe 15. We want to set our underlay to soft. Want to do a pull compensation of about 5. We definitely want thread trims. We definitely want lock stitches. And then you're just going to start in one area, pick the very edge, and hold on, make sure this is zigzag. There we go. There we go. Let me just set it to about 10. That looks good. All right, and then we want to do thread trims. And keep the center line right on the edge of your stitches when creating this. When you're getting close to a corner here, make sure you do click on your control button, click, and then come out of it with another corner node, and then just keep following it around. So I'm going to come right in here. I'm just going to follow this straight down. I'm going to fix both sides of the yellow so it kind of like tucks behind. Let me just come here. I'm going to do a corner node, come out of it. So I'm going to come in here, corner node. Oh, backspace, I made a mistake there. I'm going to cut this corner. And we make it all the way back to where we started. So I'm just going to stop right here. Hit enter. Okay. We got a couple black stripes up here, so we're going to go to Embroidery, Path with Zigzag. And then what I'll do is I'll select these and just make them a little bit thicker. Now we'll go ahead and do the mouth. So we'll go to Embroidery. Start with a corner node. These eyes are going to be just simply, we're just going to click on Embroidery, and we'll do a uniform area. We'll just draw 2 circles. Now what you want to do is these ends right here, just bring them up a little bit, tuck them underneath. And then on and on and on we go. We would go through the rest of it the same way. And we would continue on just like that through the rest of the design. I'm not going to do the whole design here, but I think you get the idea. Okay, any questions on low resolution images? Okay, what we did, we took this low resolution, we actually reduced the colors to make it easier for us to do the majority of the tasks in converting it to stitches. Okay, we would do the same thing for hotfix, by the way. Okay, we still want to do those same techniques. Okay, now what we're going to talk about now is images that we want to associate some change to. Okay, when to convert it to a vector, when not to. Let me go back to my my images here, and let's close this out. Let's find something that has a little bit more of an easier thing we can do to convert to vector. Okay. So things like, let me see. Let's take a, let me try, let's see, what am I going to do? Easter Clipart. Let's go with corporate logos. Let's see. See a lot of people playing with the Pepsi Cola logo, putting their own insignias in there, and you could do that. Let's go ahead and do something with this. We're going to select this and save it, and then we'll open that up. Taking an image and changing it up, and now I'm getting an access violation because I have several users using this computer at the same time. So it's going to happen. So I'm going to go to catalogs, and we'll bring that Pepsi logo in, and it's under my name, under the desktop, under Clipart, and there's the Pepsi. Let's say you get a graphic and you need to do some changes to it, like instead of red, white, and blue, maybe they're Italian colors. Maybe they want the Italian colors or another international color, Or maybe you want to do something with the word Pepsi and make it multiple colors. As it's shown right now, all you have is a solid color. So in these situations where the object or the graphic needs to change more so than it's there, then you will have to convert the graphic to vector so you can edit the graphic and then convert to rhinestones or stitches. To do this, what I'll first do is actually go to layout and I'll clean my image, okay? Always go to color reduction to minimize the amount of colors that is actually in your graphic. Even as clean as this is, look at all the shades of blue that it sees. Most of these lighter shades will be towards the outer edge as it blends into the white. The same with the red. There'll be pink colors on the outer edge. So we basically have a red, white, and blue, and 2 blue images here. So we want to reduce this to 4 colors. I'll hit filter, and it'll take all those extra colors out and just give us the colors that we're looking for: our red, our 2 blues, and our white. Once we do that, then we could right-click, deselect, select again, right-click. I'm sorry. Go to let me see, artwork. Let me see where the convert to vector is. They put it, I thought it was under layout. One second. Home. Artwork. Let me see. Where did they put? There it is, convert to vector. It's under image. Once we convert to vector, you want to make sure you always filter first, okay? Because you want to see how the color filters is going to process your image. If you accidentally set it to 2, it's going to blend these colors together until it gets 2 colors, okay? So you want to make sure your color filters are set correctly, and then hit filter so you can see how it filters. Now, the other reason why you want to hit filter is because we have white elements in this design that we need to maintain. And right now, it's choosing the white as a transparent layer, which means that when I vectorize, that white will be gone. Just for kicks and giggles, let's go ahead and do the blue as a transparent so you can see what happens when you vectorize. Whatever's the transparent will be omitted from the graphic on the final editing. You see it's all gone there. This is why you want to go to filter and filter your colors. And yep. Let me just stop this for a minute. I hate working with other people on the computer because I'm going to get those errors. Let's open it up again. While we got this little pause, anybody have any questions at all? Okay. Okay, moving right on. All right, we'll go to catalog. We'll bring that back in. And immediately go to layout, reduce my colors to 4 colors. Hit filter, make sure the before is the same as, the after is the same as before. And now we'll just go to image. We'll convert to vector. The first thing I'm going to do is set my reduction to 4. Hit filter. And because I need to maintain the white aspects of the image, I'm going to tell it no transparent layer. So none of the colors that are in our image will delete when we vectorize. We'll click on vectorize. And now it's processing. And once return turns green, it's vectored. All right, so now we're going to have some white here that we want to delete. I'm going to change the background color so you can see the background. I don't need this anymore. I can now delete it. I'll delete the white inside of the word Pepsi. And there we go. So now we can start converting. So let's change my image back to white, the background color back to white. And now we can see all the parts of our image. Now, what we want is the word Pepsi to be multiple colors, okay? We want to do a red, white, and blue for Memorial Day. I'm just going to make the Pepsi a little bit bigger to give us the room to do it in rhinestones. And to accommodate that, what we want to do is we want to use a tool called Split Vector. And the way I do this is first I bring a guideline down. Now, in version 17, you'll have to hold the control button, grab the ruler, and then you can bring a guideline down. And I'm going to set it to where my area is going to be red. All the top section here above this guideline will be red. I'm going to hold my control button, bring another one down. Anything in the middle here will be white, and anything at the bottom will be blue. Now what I could do is click on the word on the P, and if I right-click, you'll have this tool that says Split Object. And all you want to do is follow that guideline straight across from one end to the other, and then you divide that letter. So now we have, I'm going to click on the top part. We'll right-click again, and we'll Split Object. We'll be using the guideline as a straight edge to cut it nice and straight. And now we have this top section, which is our red, this middle two sections, which are white. And I'll just change them to gray so I can see them. And then the bottom section will be blue. Now we'll click on the E, and we'll do the same thing. By the way, you have to do each object one at a time. So what I usually do is I work straight across. I'll click on the P and divide this. Then I'll click on the S, right-click, Split Object, divide straight. And by the way, you can go right through that I if you want to. It won't divide the I. It'll only divide what you selected. So you don't have to worry about trying to get your mouse inside here. All right, so now we're going to click on the E again, right-click, Split Object, the P. By the way, you could associate a hotkey for that. You could do Shift S or Control S, and automatically it'll do that for you. And then instead of right-clicking, so if you want to do that, again, I just want to show you using your hotkeys and assigning your hotkeys, especially if it's something that you're going to be doing quite a lot of, then you definitely want to use this and set these. So I'm going to go down to Split, and sometimes trying to find it. Split Object, there it is right there. So I'm going to assign a hotkey, and I like Control S. There we go. So I'm going to close. Now that's going to make it easier for me. So now I don't have to right-click anymore. I could just click on the I, and well, let's go ahead and do the E. I already did the E. Let's do the I. I'm going to Control S, and right away I'm in Split. All right, so now what I'll do is I'll hold my control button, I'll select all the top parts, and I'll change the colors, and I'll choose all the middle parts, and change the colors to gray. And to get rid of my guidelines, I can go to View, and I can go to, where's the name? Hold on, 1 second. It's right here. I could clear all guidelines or delete all guidelines. Okay? And now we can convert. So what I would do for hotfix, I would go to Hotfix tab, go to my catalog, and add the stones that I need to use for this. So let's go ahead and go with we'll go to rhinestones, and I'll choose standard round. Let me just move this so everybody can see it. Kind of want to see my image, and I'm going to go to an SS6. And we're going to add clear. I'm also going to add my blue in SS6 and my red in SS6. And then there's some bigger areas here where I don't need to use SS6 inside here. So I'm going to use a SS10 clear. And then we'll go and we'll add the blue. And then we'll add the red. Now I use SS6s because my lettering is going to need the SS6s. It's the smallest element that I have in this design. So now we're just going to start converting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my red SS10 first. I'm going to click on the fill that I want to use. Okay. I'm going to set my bead spacing to about 5. I'm going to set my margin to about 12. And I'm just going to see what it looks like. The margin, we don't want the beads to hang off into the clear area here. So let me set my bead spacing to 5 and my margin to 12, and it'll kind of poke it. And I'm going to just set my margin to the point where it's no longer in the white area. It looks like the margin is going to be a number of 14. So that's going to be my number for all these two. So in order to do this, now that I know my numbers, I'm going to open up my object manager, and I'm going to click on my next color to be used, which is going to be the blue. I'm going to click where the blue part is going to go, smart design it, use my fill, and then over here in my object manager, I'm immediately going to set those settings. We're going to set my bead spacing to 5 and my margin to 14. Now we'll click on the clear, click where the clear is going to go, do our fill, and then we can actually do it here. We can actually do 5 on the bead spacing, 14 on the margin. Let's take a look and see how our image looks like. Looks pretty good. All right, so now what we're going to do the final blue here. So I'm going to do an SS6 stone on the blue. I'm going to use path file, and I'm going to do auto center trace. Auto center trace is going to find the center of that blue. I hit enter, and there it is. Now I don't like the way that is overlapping, so instead of doing auto center trace, I'm going to do auto complete, which is going to put a blue line on the inside and the outside of this. And now what I'll do is I'll go to select object, and I'll delete the inside part. That leaves the outer edge. May have to bring that out just a little bit more, but it looks pretty good so far. So now we're going to do Pepsi. Now we're going to do the word Pepsi. So I'm going to choose my first color. It's going to be red. Choose all the red objects, holding my control button. And I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to go ahead and go to Smart Design. I'm going to do this fill. Immediately come over here to the body, and we'll set our bead spacing to about 4. Well, let's take a look at that. Now what we want to do, we want to bring them a little closer together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try a different fill pattern. No, I don't like that one. Let's go ahead and bring a bead spacing of 3. I think I can get away with 10s in here. So let's go ahead and select these again. We're going to change them to 10s and see if that fills it up. That looks a lot better. All right, so we're going to use 10s throughout this thing. So now I'm going to do the blue. Go to hotfix. I'm going to choose the blue. Choose where the blue is going to go. And we'll go to, we're going to go to Smart Design, convert it to a fill. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to set my bead spacing to 4. And now we'll choose the white area. So I'm going to click on the white, holding my control button. We do the white last because we want the white to stand out. If I do the white first, then the red is going to over top of it, and when we do our bead overlaps, it's going to delete more of the white. So I want the white to be on top since it's the most narrow part of our design. And we'll do a fill. Come down here. I want it to be SS10 clear. Let's set it to a bead spacing of 4. There we go. So now what I want to do is I want to adjust the margin on all of these, okay, to get them a little bit closer together. But I want them to be the same, okay? So right here is the margin. So we're going to set the margin to about 3. You see they get a little closer together. What we're doing here is this, okay? Here's the margin set to 3. We're bringing these lines closer together. Now, you want to be careful how close you get them in because they start deleting. All right, so it looks like 4 is the number. So I'm just going to make sure that they're all set to 4. There we go. Maybe on this one here, we'll just treat it a little bit different so we get a little bit better fill. There we go. And maybe on this outer part of the P. That looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and go. Now what we want to do, we want to solve our overlaps. And then when you do that, inevitably you might have a couple stones that deleted that were unintentional. And just go ahead and just manually put them in. Like what I'll do is I'll go to Edit Hotfix, and I will insert. And what I'll do is just move a stone out of the way so it doesn't interact with it anymore. We have a couple blues here we may have to put in there. So I'll go to Insert, choose the right color. Oop. And we got a couple more, maybe one more blue here and a couple reds up here where they deleted. And just maybe one more clear right here. And what I'll do is I'll drop that stone, I'll move this one over, right click, insert another one, put this one right here. And there you go. Okay. Any questions at all on how we did that? Well, dealing with JPEGs could be a lot easier as long as you follow a couple rules. Number one, the larger the graphic resolution file, the easier it's going to be to use the automated controls or commands in your software to convert easily. If the image is not easily brought in, then you will have to use some manual tools to actually convert your object to either embroidery or hotfix. If this image was not easily converted, then I would have to draw this out shape by shape until I got the look that I'm intending. So let's go ahead and change this to a background color. The other steps are size your graphic and only have to convert the vector if there's some change that has to take place. For instance, on this image, the original graphic had a solid word Pepsi, and we wanted to convert the Pepsi into 3 colors. for a specific purpose, to achieve the customer's wishes. And then in those situations, you definitely want to convert to vector, so you can actually use your vector tools to split objects into multiple pieces. So you have that ability to change them to a 3 or 2 color object, or even just if you want to just change shapes of it. If there's, let's see, do we have any questions? No questions. Okay, well, everybody, I hope you learned something today. I hope we answered all your questions. If you have any further questions, just feel free to call us in support, and we'll be happy to discuss those with you. Anyway, you have a great weekend, and I hope to see you next week.